Hey.
Do you have a driver's license, please? Insurance and registration.
I sure do.
Okay.
Is there a reason why you pulled me over?
Yes.
The video starts with a man who is being caught by a police officer. But what happens after the instruction is gonna shock you. So stay tuned to the video till the end.
There is. You ran a red light when you were at University and Rural, and then you made an improper turn right here. When you cut the car off, that was the lane number L2. Do you have a driver's license, please?
The man asks the officer, why is he being pulled over?
I do, but it's in here. You're not going to be scared if I reach it, are you?
Do you have any weapons?
Well, I don't answer any questions, but you can clearly see inside of my vehicle, I have camera equipment. I'm a TV producer.
Okay. Do you have a driver's license, please?
I do.
Could you grab it for me, please?
But I did a U-turn where the road was closed. I just want you to notice that.
All right. Could you give me your driver's license, please?
I can, but I got to reach in here, and I don't want you to be scared.
Just give me your driver's license.
This is the Mullen Commission. I teach constitutional law.
Okay.
Just so you understand what you're doing here.
All right.
Be really careful your steps here.
The man explains that he made a U-turn because the road was closed. I just want you to notice that, okay, I can give you the driving license, but I need to go in here and I don't want to be terrified. This is the Mullen Commission and I teach constitutional law, so proceed carefully.
Please give me your driver's license, your insurance, and your registration.
You don't have to be demanding. You can clearly see I'm pulling out my identification for you right here.
The officer again asked for the man's driving license, insurance, and registration. But what the man said is truly appreciable.
You're armed and dangerous. I'm not. And you can't lose your temper because I'm a citizen and you're doing your job.
I'm just asking for your identification.
Right, but you're being aggressive towards me and I don't like it. So you need to stop.
He said you do not need to be demanding. I'm clearly bringing out my identification for you right now. There's no reason for you to be disrespectful to me because 300,000 people follow me as a constitutional law professor, so while you're armed and scary, I'm not. You cannot lose your cool because I'm a citizen and you're performing your duties.
I mean, you guys are just tyrants. Like, I'm not usually this close to someone who's just so dangerous that carries a gun around pulling people over, demanding things. It's like, it's absolutely ridiculous the way you guys behave, and you wonder why people don't like you.
The man goes on to say that you have 8 minutes to finish your stop if you make a mistake at any point along the way. I'll get your jacket, and you know what I mean when I say jacket. I'm obviously showing you my identification right here. I'll remove the tape and hand it over to you.
Drive around with my identification showing for people to see it. Do you follow what I'm saying to you? You want to cover it up so you stay protected from identity theft.
The cop gets impatient and demands records once more.
I mean, what in the world would make you pull me over? You can clearly see that the road was closed and I had nowhere to go.
Sir, I've already told you why I pulled you over.
Yeah, but you're just making an excuse to pull me over to see if I'm drinking or see if I've done something wrong or to look in my car. I mean, the truth is there's all the information you need right there. That's my driver's license. That's my insurance.
While the man says, I'm not typically this close to someone who carries a gun around and pulls people over demanding things. It's like how you guys act is completely ridiculous. Do you wonder why people dislike you? Look at your behavior. You don't see the roads being closed back there.
I just bought the car, so I just got it.
Could you just pull whichever one?
I don't know which one it is here. Oh, you know what? It's over here. It's the sticker.
It's the piece of paper that comes.
Yeah, it's the piece of paper that comes in the window.
The man explains further why he is not having his identity. He says, please listen. You can be as short as you want, but I don't exactly drive around with my identification on display for everyone to see. You follow them, stating you want to cover it up so you don't become a victim of identity theft.
I mean, I can't believe you even pulled me over, to be honest. You could clearly see that road was closed. You didn't see the road was closed?
The man provides all the information. He then claims that it is consent, since he constantly produces it. The cop then requests the registration card, to which the man responds that this is a brand new car, the registration's still in a massive form right here.
Camera in here, so don't say things that aren't true. I didn't cut off anybody.
I keep looking for your registration.
I didn't drive recklessly.
I keep looking for your registration. I keep looking for your registration.
Or anything else.
The man again comes to the point that why the cop pulled him over. To be honest, we could easily see that the road was closed, but the cop didn't notice it. The cop responds, I saw, but I also saw that you were stopped at a red light and you turned left at a red light, and then I also saw right here you turned a lot from lane number L1 and straight into lane number 2 and cut off the other vehicle. To this, the man replies that don't make things up, he did not cut anyone off, and for the proof, he has a camera over there.
Let me see if it's let me just take a look and see if it's okay. It's on the other side. Let me get my
on the passenger side.
I can get it. I don't need you. I don't need your help. You can. I'm not a criminal, so get the fuck off.
The man gets out of his car to take registration back, but gets prevented by another cop who tells him to wait in his car. But what happens next? Will he be able to go on the other side?
You're not for officer safety.
This is
under
for
Terry
my
versus
safety.
Ohio. I'm Pennsylvania versus Mims right now. I'm outside of my car. The 1978 holding. Are you sure?
Yes.
I'm allowed to go over and get my registration as he asked me to do. Stop demanding. Look what he's doing. He's demanding me around.
Yes.
This is not a lawful order.
I'm directing you back into your vehicle.
No, because I said don't tell me what to do.
Directing you back into your vehicle.
No, because I said don't tell me what to do.
This argument gets extended, and the man tells him to be careful because he is not the one they are thinking of.
Okay.
So now let me get my registration as he asked me to do.
I'm gonna have you wait in your vehicle.
I need to go around the other side to get my registration.
Okay. When I'm ready
He's
to
already
have,
looked at you're not the boss of me. You're a cop doing a job.
Yes.
You have no other skills than this.
This is my traffic
This is the
stop.
this is not your traffic stop. This is my freedom.
The cops want the man to wait right in his vehicle, but the man knows this is not what the law states. So he explains the law to his audience and reveals why the officer is scared.
You to wait in your car.
No, the answer is no. The answer is no. You cannot demand that I do unlawful orders. I teach constitutional law. Be very careful, officer.
Okay.
You don't think that it'll affect you, but by about the second year...
The man further spills out the truth, saying he does not have any real power. The man further decided to give a lesson about the laws, explaining the Mullen Commission and how the American police treat American citizens.
Right again.
Now you're touching me. Get your fucking hands off me.
You moved into me. I was standing right here.
Look, who's walking up and doing what to who?
I'm not moving at all, sir.
I have 300,000 followers, brother. They're going to love this. I have 300,000 followers, brother. They're going to love this.
After some time, the first officer returns his documents and gives him a citation for the wrong turn. And this is what the man replies. According to the man, the cop is a coward and backs off.
You want to follow me? He wants the registration. I want to get it for him.
I want you to keep waiting right here in your driver's seat.
Listen, see, this is the problem with police in America. This guy right here is an authoritarian piece of shit.
The man then thinks of taking a business card, but the cop quickly leaves after knowing that they messed with the wrong man. According to the man, the cops were just cowards. At last, the video gives a lesson that always acquires as much evidence as possible when dealing with our society's strict cops, because the evidence can save you in the event of a lawsuit. Ahmed Al-Manhali, a United Arab Emirates citizen, traveled to Avon, Ohio in June 2016 for medical treatment at the Cleveland Clinic. Upon arrival at the Fairland Inn and Suites, he was informed that the hotel was fully booked due to the Republican National Convention. Ahmed politely requested alternative accommodation options. While waiting in the lobby, a SWAT-style response occurred, with Avon officers arriving and detaining Ahmed, who was simply walking out of the hotel while on his phone.
On the ground, no! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Down! On the ground, do it now! Get on your car. Down!
Confused by the situation, Ahmed questioned the officers, but they handcuffed and searched him, damaging his phone in the process. They found a second phone, which Ahmed used for business purposes.
What the phone away! Cover the entrance, help me get back.
What is it?
Go down there.
What happened?
Despite no evidence of wrongdoing, the officers treated Ahmed as a terrorist, disregarding any investigation or backstory. Simultaneously, an officer spoke to the hotel receptionist who had made a 911 call, falsely claiming Ahmed had pledged allegiance to ISIS. The officer soon realized it was a false alarm and called off the search. Meanwhile, Ahmed collapsed and passed out, prompting paramedics to administer aid and to take him to a nearby hospital. The incident gained international attention, leading to the United Arab Emirates Ministry of Foreign Affairs to demand an apology from Avon officials. The mayor and police chief apologized to Ahmed, emphasizing that the incident did not reflect their community's values. Marriott International, the hotel's owner, expressed regret and committed to training to prevent similar occurrences.
You should not have been put in that situation like you were.
There were some false accusations made against you, and those are regrettable.
Ahmed filed a
Jensen said
lawsuit
in a
against the
statement,
hotel and its
"This
front
was a
desk
very
employee, citing
unfortunate
racial
incident
profiling."
and does not
While the
reflect
police
our
department
community.
initially considered charges
Avon is
against the
proud to
911
welcome
caller,
visitors from the
a
United
grand
Arab
jury declined to
Emirates
indict
and
anyone
other
after reviewing
countries
the
who
evidence.
regularly
After
come
3
to
years of
Northern
litigation,
Ohio for
Ahmed settled
tourism,
the lawsuit
business,
for an
medical
undisclosed
care,
amount.
or education.
The settlement aimed to compensate Ahmed for physical, psychological, and financial damages. However, he still faced lasting emotional distress, was haunted by the officer's eyes, and experienced sleep disturbances. The incident highlighted the need for improved cultural understanding and sensitivity among law enforcement personnel. Here we have Brian Filipiak, a 47-year-old Washtenaw County Sheriff's Lieutenant, who was off duty when he got pulled over. Deputy Morrison, after stopping Lieutenant Filipiak, informed him about the reason for the traffic stop. Subsequently, Deputy Morrison inquired if Lieutenant Filipiak had consumed any alcoholic beverages that afternoon. In response, Lieutenant Filipiak acknowledged that he had indeed consumed a couple drinks. After Deputy Morrison confirmed Lieutenant Filipiak's identity, he returned to his vehicle and instructed the lieutenant to exit the truck for a field sobriety test. The purpose of the test was to assess whether Lieutenant Filipiak had consumed an excessive amount of alcohol, despite it being evident he was clearly unfit to drive. Exhibiting evident signs of severe intoxication, such as slurred speech and watery eyes, Lieutenant Filipiak left no room for doubt that he was heavily under the influence.
Okay. You got your ID?
However, despite this clear indication, Lieutenant Filipiak adamantly refused to comply with Deputy Morrison's request to step out of the vehicle. Instead, he insisted that Deputy Morrison should either allow him to return home or let him sleep it off on the side of the road. In response, Deputy Morrison firmly informed Lieutenant Filipiak that his options were limited and made it clear that he would not allow him to be released in his current condition.
Multiple reckless driving calls about you. Okay. And then when I'm calling you, you're hitting the shoulder of the road. You been drinking? How many?
Just a couple.
Okay. Where are you reaching in the back for? I seen you reaching in the back. You have an open container back there? Okay, you been drinking on the way here? Got your registration, proof of insurance? Do you have a firearm on you? Okay. Do you got your pistol? Are you a corrections officer or just deputy? Lieutenant? Okay.
Despite Deputy Morrison's persistent attempts to persuade Lieutenant Filipiak to exit the vehicle, the latter remained adamant in his repeated request to be released. He proceeded to assert that Deputy Morrison's job would not be jeopardized if he let the situation slide, emphasizing the potential consequences for himself if the matter were pursued.
Brian, I'm going to have you step out of the car when I'll do field sobriety test for you. Okay?
However, Deputy Morrison understood that ignoring the incident would not only lead to his termination, but also result in misdemeanor charges carrying a penalty of up to 1 year of imprisonment or a fine of $1,000. Deputy Morrison was fully aware of the extent of Lieutenant Filipiak's intoxication, as he had allegedly observed the lieutenant discarding open containers in the back seat during the traffic stop.
I'm going to ask you to step out of the vehicle. What would you like me to do?
Just let me.
I can't. I had multiple phone calls. You'd be in the same situation if I was in the vehicle in your county, correct?
All right, just let me stay here.
You can't. I'm going to ask you nicely to step out of this vehicle. Brian, my hands are tied. If I let you go, I'm going to lose my career over you. You don't think I wouldn't? This is northern Michigan. We're a small department. Okay, I'm going to ask you nicely to step out of the vehicle. You know I have my job to do. You know that.
Yeah, and I just want you.
And I understand your point, your position. okay? I'm trying to be as cooperative and nice to you as I can.
Despite Deputy Morrison's continuous efforts in trying to have Lieutenant Filipiak step out of the vehicle,
After nearly 5 minutes of persistent requests for Lieutenant Filipiak to exit the vehicle,
Just let me go.
I can't let you go. We're way past that point. You know this. You're a lieutenant. You know how this works.
Yeah, I do.
You would tell one of your deputies if they called you right on the side of the road and they asked you what to do. So, if one of your deputies is in the position as I am right now, calling you as a lieutenant, Lieutenant, this is what I got. What should I do? You're just going to say let him go? Why? Just because. You're intoxicated. I know it. You've opened alcohol in the vehicle that you passed back. I know it. You know it. Can't have been gotten. Ryan, out of this vehicle. I'm asking you nicely. I don't want to see anything worse happen. Okay?
Deputy Morrison, having reached the limits of his patience, opened the door and firmly instructed the lieutenant to step out, avoiding any need for further escalation. Deputy Morrison proceeded to inform Lieutenant Filipiak that he would be arrested for refusal to comply if he persisted in refusing to exit the vehicle. RNO, an abbreviation for resisting and obstructing a police officer, is a felony offense that carries a penalty of up to 2 years of imprisonment, a fine of $2,000, or both. After an additional 5 minutes had passed, Deputy Morrison cautioned Lieutenant Filipiak that he would be tased if he continued to resist compliance with his instructions. Consequently, Deputy Morrison retrieved his taser and aimed it at the lieutenant, while firmly warning him that failure to comply would result in being tased. Deputy Morrison even considered using the backup taser at that moment. In this situation, Deputy Morrison possessed the authority to employ his taser and would not have faced repercussions for doing so. Fortunately, the threat of being tased successfully persuaded Lieutenant Filipiak to finally exit the vehicle. As anticipated, Deputy Morrison did not tolerate Lieutenant Filipiak's resistance, instructed Lieutenant Filipiak to occupy the back seat of his patrol car, intending to transport him to the police station. Despite Deputy Morrison's clear directive to sit in the car, Lieutenant Filipiak persisted in his refusal, stating, "I am who you guys are. Do you guys realize that?" This remark strongly indicated that Lieutenant Filipiak was attempting to exploit his position of authority, seeking a preferential treatment based on his status.
All right, we're done with this.
Hold on.
Talk to me. Yes or no? Are you doing field sobriety tests?
All right. So if this was the other situation,
Lieutenant Filipiak clearly held the belief that he was exempt from abiding by the law. However, the officers present at the scene were determined to make it evident that such was not the case. Following some further struggle, they managed to successfully place Lieutenant Filipiak inside the patrol car.
I'm not resisting, but let's stop.
You're tensed up.
Let's talk about it. Okay.
We've talked. I don't want to put you on the ground.
No,
I don't want to make this worse.
All right, I will just sleep it off.
Dude, stop it right now. You know? Stop it.
Allowing for his transportation to the police station where he would face the consequences of his actions. Subsequent breath tests conducted at the police station revealed that Filipiak's blood alcohol level registered at 0.28 and 0.27%. For context, the legal limit for operating a motor vehicle in the United States is a mere 0.08%.
What happens? We're going to take you to the jail and ask for a data master. And if you refuse that, we're going to get a search warrant for your blood. Brian, have a seat.
Stop, guys. Hold on.
Therefore, Lieutenant Filipiak's blood alcohol concentration was over 3 times the legal limit, subjecting him to Michigan State's super drunk law, which carries penalties of up to 180 days in jail, fines of up to $700, and up to 360 hours of community service. So it's time to watch our next case. On July 26, 2021, the Orangeburg Department of Public Safety received a distress call from a female resident of Colton Village Townhomes in Orangeburg, South Carolina. The caller reported that a man was vigorously banging on her door and window, attempting to gain entry. Furthermore, she alleged that the man possessed a firearm tucked into the waistband of his jean shorts. In response, dispatch promptly directed all officers in the vicinity to respond without delay. Officer David Lance Dukes arrived as the first responder at the scene. With his firearm drawn, Officer Dukes exited his patrol car and proceeded to instruct a 58-year-old disabled man, along with his cousin DeMario Julian, to immediately lie on the ground. At this juncture, it was evident from the body camera footage that Mr. Gillard was complying with Officer Dukes' commands. The recording captured Mr. Gillard raising his hands in the air and proceeding to lower himself onto his hands and knees as directed by the officer. However, before Mr. Gillard could fully assume the prone position on the ground, Officer Dukes unexpectedly and forcefully stomped on Mr. Gillard's neck. The impact caused Mr. Gillard's head to forcefully strike the pavement, resulting in a bruised forehead. Subsequent investigations revealed that Mr. Gillard's delay in complying was due to the presence of metal rods and pins in his leg and hip as a result of a previous injury. Following the aggressive act, Officer Dukes promptly restrained Mr. Gillard by placing him in handcuffs. Immediately afterward, Officer Dukes informed a second officer at the scene that there should be a gun behind Mr. Gillard, suggesting that Mr. Gillard had allegedly left a firearm behind the white SUV where he had been positioned prior to the confrontation.
There's a gun behind me. There's a gun, I believe, behind me. I ain't got no gun there.
Mr. Gillard assured Officer Dukes that there was no gun present, and upon a quick examination, the second officer confirmed the absence of any firearm. Officer Dukes proceeded to conduct a search of Mr. Gillard's person, accusing him of failing to comply with orders. However, as evident in the earlier body camera footage, Mr. Gillard had been complying with Officer Dukes' commands from the beginning. Not once did Mr. Gillard exhibit any behavior it could be perceived as a threat, thereby negating Officer Dukes' justification for excusing excessive force against him. Once Officer Dukes ensured that Mr. Gillard did not possess a firearm, he decided to search the vicinity of the SUV himself in hopes of locating the alleged weapon. It swiftly became apparent that there was no gun to be found. Instead, it was discovered that Mr. Gillard had been carrying a stick wrapped in shiny silver tape, which he typically used as protection against aggressive stray dogs. Officer Dukes and the second officer helped Mr. Gillard back up onto his feet, at which point he began expressing his dissatisfaction regarding the unnecessary impact of his head on the concrete. The visible injury to Mr. Gillard's forehead, marked by a bruise and swelling, further supported his claim. In response to Mr. Gillard's confrontation regarding the incident, Officer Dukes provided a reply. At this point, it became apparent that Mr. Gillard was in need of medical attention. However, neither of the officers present on the scene initially took this into consideration. Fortunately, Officer Queenie Polidor arrived and promptly recognized the necessity for emergency medical services, requesting EMS assistance. As Mr. Gillard continued to express his grievances regarding the incident, Officer Dukes approached Officer Polidor and another responding officer to inform them about the situation. However, Officer Dukes' account was far from truthful. He claimed that when Mr. Gillard walked in front of the SUV, he believed Mr. Gillard was carrying a gun and repeatedly instructed him to drop it. Officer Dukes made further allegations claiming Mr. Gillard had his hands in his pockets and repeatedly ignored requests to show his hands. However, the body camera footage once again contradicted Officer Dukes' statements.
He was in front of the car when I came up, and he was walking like this. And I thought it was a gun at first. I said, drop the gun, drop the gun, drop the gun, drop the gun. I had him at gunpoint.
Clearly showing Mr. Gillard complying with the orders by keeping his hands raised above his head. Officer Dukes mentioned to a fellow officer that he wanted to take the stick as evidence, stating that it was the reason for his actions. In response, the fellow officer promptly questioned the necessity of using the stick as evidence, pointing out that the body camera footage would suffice. EMS arrived at the scene to attend to Mr. Gillard's condition. While Mr. Gillard was being examined, Mr. Julian approached Officer Dukes and requested a card with his details on it. In response, Officer Dukes promptly informed Mr. Julian that he did not possess a card and clarified that the department did not issue such cards in any case. Officer Polidor quickly recognized Officer Dukes' misstatement and promptly corrected him. She asserted that they indeed possessed cards and proceeded to provide Mr. Julian with her own cards as requested. On July 31, 2022, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division announced that Officer Dukes was taken into custody and charged with first-degree assault and battery. Several months later, in November 2021, Mr. Gillard received a compensation settlement of $650,000 from Orangeburg, South Carolina. City officials additionally expressed their commitment to establishing a citizens task force to provide oversight and guidance regarding interactions between residents and the Orangeburg police.